And that was a big, huge surprise to me. First, I really embraced that, there was a community. And then I realized that this is a community like every other community. There's going to be situation where if you're smart, you have to avoid, and others you have to embrace, and then not take anything personal and leave it at that. So I'm hoping that new YouTubers would just not fall for the hype and just get it. So I thank you so much for tuning in, and I would really ask you to subscribe, consider subscribing if you have not done that yet. And I would talk maybe a little bit about how I've been experiencing YouTube lately. So it's been a complete learning experience, I would say. I tend to be one who feels like I benefit from meeting good people, or people who perhaps I need to not get too involved in their life because something is not going to work on a positive note. So I tend to embrace those things not as things that are bad, but as learning experiences, and just move on with the stuff that are more important to me. So I am going now past a year in YouTube, and I've had to reassess a number of things, and think that it's been a learning experience where I felt I've learned from everyone that have crossed my path. And I think when I studied YouTube, I really was just following people based on their personality. And I was following people like Monroe Steele, who is a vlogger that I still really love. And then in terms of perfume reviewer, I was following Angel lately, who is a Kenyan reviewer. And it was mostly their personality that they brought into the vlog, and also learning something about their experiences, their life, and also their space. So that has always been an approach that I've found really interesting. And I found myself with a ton of fragrances, just kind of listening to perfume reviewers. So that's when I said, oh, it would be nice then to engage in the conversation too. So that's kind of how I started talking about perfumes. And I also saw it was a great opportunity to talk about my art, which I've been collecting easily the last 25 years. So I thought perhaps it would be a good service to the world to sort of open up the Haitian art, especially, to be honest, the images and the narrative that comes about Haiti, or not many of them are engineered by Western media. Things have a lot of nuances. Of course, it's a poor country, but things have a lot of nuances. And there really is no reason for a country to be constantly be depicted in the bad part, which would be fine. But the issue is you have good parts. So if you have a lot of good parts and you're a black country, and somehow what is being depicted is the bad, so that puts a little bit to question what that potentially means. So I've opted to sort of, share some of the cultural products that come out of the country, just because we have such a rich cultural experience, and clearly the art sort of show that. So to my surprise, when I studied the YouTube, other YouTube reviewers that I didn't even know about started sort of reaching out to me, and that was a bonus. That definitely was a bonus, because I didn't even know that existed. So I found myself just spending a lot of time just following other YouTubers and supporting them. And the culture was, oh, okay, clearly you support me, I'll support you, which is fine with me. I believe in reciprocity. But I realized that, I'm going to be candid, once I started having content that had perhaps a little teeth to it, and I was supporting people, I was following them, and there was silence. And one funny episode was someone who never liked my Instagram contacted me and was like, what the F did you just post on Instagram? Do you know people in YouTube are talking about this? I'm like, oh my God. Is there all this talk outside of, just leaving a comment? And it turns out, no, it wasn't just leaving comments. There were people on the phone, there were people in the community, and it was very much, among some of them, it was definitely negative. So I quickly learned, like everything else, to just kind of start doing a triage and avoiding whatever was, whenever situation was negative, because I don't have to be in any negative situation. I'm not anyone's relative, and it's just acquaintances through social media. I don't have to engage in a level that's beyond leaving comments, or if we are like-minded, to talk about the stuff that we are all talking about. So beyond that, I did not see any cause for conversation on the phone among other YouTube reviewers about other YouTube reviewers. So that's a situation that could have quickly become of a venom, but I quickly learned to not really be involved and stepped away from this. So you would see even in the comments that reviewers who were commenting, were supporting, are all silent right now. And I do not believe that people should be in YouTube to just listen to each other. The reviewers should just be listening to each other. If you are in a situation where all your comments are from other YouTube reviewers, they are considering themselves as your competitor. And therefore, it's not, I cannot imagine that this is what this should be about. It should be about the public having a sense of following you because they like your content. It shouldn't just be bouncing on each other's YouTube perfumes, hauls, how many you have, how many I have, and just leaving the conversation at that. And I learned quickly to prioritize this situation and to realize that the important point is not to just get approval of other reviewers, but to get approval of your followers who are experiencing life with you or learning from you, and you are also learning from them. So I've reached this point and I'm totally at peace with where I am, and I'm still very grateful for those people who are really positive, and we are able to help build each other's up. But anything that is about even a slice of negativity is totally taken out of my hair. So besides that, I can say I've just been very happy, and that's been a learning experience. I'm saying that I'm sharing this information because that's not something I knew at all was going to happen. And that was a big, huge surprise to me. First, I really embraced that, there was a community, and then I realized that this is a community like every other community. There's going to be situation where if you're smart, you have to avoid, and others you have to embrace, and then not take anything personal and leave it at that. So I'm hoping that new YouTubers would just not fall for the hype and just get it. So that's all I have for you guys, and thanks for having joined me today. And as I say, I'm going to be sharing my thought and my experiences, and I'm glad that you were able to be with me today. Okay, bye.